Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to one more day of our 21-day Spiritual Neurons Empire Challenge. Today is the 17th day of our challenge, and I hope that all of you are doing well, are doing fine. Today, we're going to spend a little bit more of time talking and sharing a little bit about changing the chemistry of our body. Okay, so yesterday we had the opportunity to talk a little bit about, the morning process, and we were talking about. I'm just making a little summary for for you guys to get acquainted. But yesterday we talked about how important it is, you know, that when we're making a transformation, right, we need to feel all the emotions that have been repressed, and we want to actually you know pass we want to be able to pass through that um, sorrow, let's say, if that's the word that you want to call it, uh, so we can liberate those emotions. Okay, and there's something that is important into this, and I don't want you to take me wrong on that, right? Transformation doesn't mean that you have to be positive all the time and you have to think positive. That's not transformation. I'm sorry. Okay, transformation is making yourself aware of everything that you have that is actually bothering you, or everything that does no longer serve you. But you have to become aware of that. I mean, and the only way that you can actually become aware of that is when you feel it, right? Yesterday I was making reference as to a couple of history points that I passed through my life that I needed to actually see with other eyes. I needed to relieve, I needed to feel the emotion that was hidden in there, but at the same time, I needed to experience it with other eyes in my mind. I needed to uh, put myself in the shoes of the other people, right? So I could pass through that process of forgiveness and also of acceptance, right? Sometimes, I mean, you need to accept the fact that life is what it is, and whatever the experience comes to you, it's basically what I mean, what happens in the drama of life, right? So one of the things that I used to do a lot is I wanted to control every single event, uh, and I was kind of like trying to protect myself from many things because of the fear of experiencing the pain from the past, right? And that was something that didn't allow me also, I mean, to go through that mourning process. Anyhow, so one of the things that uh, it's always important to do when we are passing through that transformation process, when we're shifting, from the old self-image and we're moving towards a new self-image. There is something that I personally didn't find that it was important, for the sake of the practice, but then I understood the chemistry behind it. And one of the things that it really does alter our state of being is the power of practicing gratitude. This is probably one of the biggest things that involves, changing our, not only the mindset per se, but everything that is happening in the brain. What happens is the following: we have been talking about uh, how our brain, right, is constantly producing chemical reactions. Our brain is producing neurons that communicate, like one with at least 10,000 neurons and this is simultaneously, of course. But in order to do that, right, I mean, it needs the fuel, it needs energy, it needs light, in other words, electricity, and at the same time, it needs um, dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, uh, GABA, and all of the neurotransmitters that are important, that are chemical substances, of course, and each one of them has a different function in the brain, right? In order to function properly and to make those neuron connections. Well, it happens that every time, and this is, I'm going to rephrase it back from what we were talking yesterday and the days before. Every time that you are under a stressful situation, every time that you pass anxiety, every time that you're passing sorrow, every time that you're experiencing anger or uh, any kind of fear or even hate, you are actually liberating, you are actually activating in your brain substances, that we mentioned dopamine, serotonin, and all those things. But at the same time, those chemical reactions in the brain are getting mixed with cortisol, which is the stress hormone. That creates a chemical reaction, a chemical solution, let's say. And most of the times, of course, the energy that is behind those feelings and those emotions is very dense, is very, notice that the energy is dense every time that you feel, right? You're gonna feel, the energy in your body, which is usually hotter. I mean, sometimes, your heart pumps uh, faster than normal, and you can see that your whole organism is moving towards that emotion that you're feeling. But again, you are producing chemistry. Now, when you are in a state of gratitude, and gratitude, uh, I don't want you to think of gratitude in terms of uh, a simple word or a simple action, okay? Because gratitude is not based on the action of saying thank you, okay? That's not gratitude. That is just um, a condition from your knowledge, a condition from the, let's say, the education that you have learned, right? That someone told you when you were a kid, well, you need to learn to say thank you when you receive something, okay? But that's not enough. And this is something that, to me, it was. It was, I was educated under those conditions, right? And I'm not saying that they're wrong, they're not, right? But the thing is that I didn't understand that gratitude brings a feeling, right? And it's that feeling of, first of all, being um, connected to something that you receive. When you receive something, that whatever it is that you receive, it becomes part of something that fulfills you, right? Because at the end of the day, when you start understanding that you're connected to people, you're connected to creatures, you're connected to everything, right? You're being, or you're becoming a part of something that is way, 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 way greater than your own limited body space and body consciousness. So everything that comes to you in the terms of uh, let's say magnetism, right? The feeling that you generate, because that whatever it is that comes to you, that is the feeling that you want to have. That feeling generates oxytocin, it generates the liberation of healthy dopamine, right? It generates also serotonin, which in a very big proportion, it's produced not by the brain, it's produced by the gut, okay? And because it doesn't have the presence, or the mixture of cortisol in the body, the chemical reaction is totally different. different in the body. It's much more lighter. I don't know if you have noticed, but this is, of course, something that relates to this 21-day challenge. And this is something that I have perceived and I have noticed on myself. From the first series up till today, I can really feel um, that my chemistry has been changing. And the way that I can actually be the proof of that is because on the way that I am expressing myself and in the way that I'm talking. And this is something that uh, I haven't even looked back to the series one, two, or three. I mean, I'm just going with the flow for every single series that we're doing, but I am experiencing consciously. I'm gaining the awareness of consciously uh, observing my own progress, right? And I can feel not only in my voice, I can feel it in my state of communicating, in my state of simply being this moment in which I am sharing information with you, I'm sharing knowledge, and I can just feel uh, not only the peace that I think somehow, is being irradiated through the energy of God, through the divine energy, in such a way that really, I mean, it makes it's something that I just feel. I mean, I cannot explain it, with too many detail and logic words. I just feel, right? So gratitude, it's something that it does generate uh, chemical reactions, positive chemical reactions in your body in such a way, that it makes you lighter, and it really does make you lighter. So one of the things, and again, we're making reference as to how do we change, right? Yesterday we were actually talking about changing or actually turning from darkness to light. And one of the things that uh, you know we were talking about was being able to feel the sorrow, feel the pain, right? Because when we feel it, we liberate it, and once we liberate it, right, we open space to other feelings, to the feeling of gratitude. And it is only when we start feeling gratitude, and when we feel that the chemistry, and when we feel that we are lighter, and when we actually feel this joyful presence, let's say, that we realize how important it was for us to experience that moment of sadness or whatever, right? Because we also realize how prisoners we have been of our past experiences, how much of a prisoners, and how many chains we have been carrying for so long because of the guilt, because of the shame, and because of all those emotions that are chemical reactions. And here's the thing. This is the most important thing. This is something that I became to understand when I started not only putting into practice, but when I went to do a little bit of research in regards to the chemistry of that. And Dr. Joe Dispenza, which happens to be one of my current favorite readers, he mentions in both, actually three books that I have read. He has four books that he has written. He has he wrote Becoming Supernatural. Actually, the first book that he wrote was Evolve Your Brain. Then the second book he wrote was um, Breaking the Habit of Being You, and or actually breaking the habit of being yourself. Then the third one that he wrote was You Are the Placebo. And then the final one is Becoming Supernatural. I'm reading uh, in that series of books in the sequence, I'm reading now, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, and I still need to write to actually read about You're the Placebo. But in all of the studies that Dr. Joe Dispenza does, he makes reference that it is not the experience per se that we're living in the present that we are addicted, right? um, People who are addicted to any sort of uh, habit, yeah, call it drugs, call it cigarette smoking, call it sex compulsion, right? We're not really addicted to the experience per se, just because it is repetitive. What happens is that we are addicted to the chemistry that is being actually being released on a constant basis, right? We are addicted to the emotion that got repressed. So in order to break from that old pattern of emotions, of the guilt and of the anger, of course, I mean, we need to start practicing other kinds of emotions. We need to start experiencing other kinds of feelings in such a way that we are able to generate, right, other sorts of chemical reactions in our body. And how do we do that is the key question, right, that we always need to ask ourselves. How do I change, how do I turn from dark to light? How do I turn my darkness or my feelings that are negative into positive feelings? Okay. And he mentioned something that is very important, right? First of all, we need to change our mentality about the environment. When we are attached to the same environment, the same toxic people, the same toxic activities that we do, the same places that we frequent, that actually are the sources where we get the addiction or the activities or the habits, right? It's very difficult to change our chemistry, right? So we need to change, first of all, the environment in which we are so we can actually start changing our chemistry. Second, we need to uh, get detached from our body consciousness. We need to get detached from the personality of the physical structure that we are used to, right? In other words, if we see ourselves in such a specific physical way, right? And we know that we have like a physical condition, or we have, for instance, an illness, an organic illness, we have in our mind, we need to start getting out of the thinking that we are ill. We need to get out of the thinking and the feeling that we are overweight, right? So we need to get detached from the body structure, the current body structure, and start picturing in ourselves, right, the ideal body that we have, uh, that we want to construct. Okay. And the third thing that we want to pay attention so we can start transforming ourselves is we need to get detached from time. Because time, and here's the thing, time is only a measure that was created by men in order to give us a reference, right, of success, of accomplishment per se. But people got into the idea that because time is limited, right, is kind of a limited, of course, idea that we don't have time to do anything. And because of that, we also get limited to the fact, oh, I don't have time to do that, or I don't have to do I don't have the time to change. I don't have the time to meditate. I don't have the time to feel gratitude. And we limit ourselves because of the reference called time. So we need to get away from the time and actually make, right, the time. How? By living the present moment, right? Notice something that is very interesting. Okay, when I first started doing these lives, I originally set up a time frame, right, to start recording, which is at 5:02 in the morning. Well, it happens, if you notice, that this particular series I started it at 4:52, right? Not because I wanted to wait because of the time, but because I am connected in this precise moment, right? I am connected in this specific environment, which is the now. This is my reality at this point in time. And this is what I'm sharing in this specific moment, right? I'm not thinking about, oh my God, I have to wait until 5:02 to start doing the live, right? No, I just go ahead and, I mean, I started my day at 3 o'clock in the morning. I did my rituals. And of course, I've been on a sequence mode in which I have done, my meditation, and at the same time within the meditation, uh, the first thing that I did, of course, was like, "Whoa, thank you," because I am alive, because I'm breathing, I'm generating this chemistry in my body that is making me feel fulfilled. So why stop, right? And while I am connected, and at the same time, I have done several things in the last basically 2 hours, right? I am here right now and I am experiencing the moment. I am breathing and I am looking at both of the cameras in which I am recording this session with the sensation that I am simply fulfilled. I am just being an instrument to pass, of course, a message, but I am living the moment. I'm not worried about the time per se, okay? Because time became only my reference, but it's not what it makes the purpose, right, of everything that is happening and everything that I am experiencing at this moment, right? So the reason why I'm telling you this is because precisely I know consciously that I am activating my own chemistry. I am working consciously to elevate my feelings. I am consciously activating my thinking, right? And while I am actually breathing and speaking, I am thinking and being aware of the words that I am saying, right? You notice that I have a little accent, so sometimes, my words get a little confused, because of the accent and because of the other languages. But and I know that you understand the message that I'm actually trying to pass. But anyhow, everything that is happening is pretty much being chemistry, right? So today, basically, um, in the challenge that we're going through, right? Today is a day to challenge ourselves to feel gratitude. Okay. And feeling gratitude, what I would like you to do is take your notebook and your pen, and for everything starting this moment, become aware and bring to your consciousness every single moment that you pass through your day, and write down everything that you discover from every moment, everything that you notice from every moment. Write it down. And at the end of the day, if you can do it during the day, but mostly at the end of the day, go through that list and see for yourself how many things you have paid attention, you have gained awareness and consciousness that you were not aware before. It can be a lesson. It can be maybe this series can be a reason for you to be grateful. Maybe I'll give you an example of something that it happened to me actually this morning when I was running. Um, I was actually, passing through through a gas station, right? I mean, it's like I was passing on the street. I passed a gas station, and I could actually smell, I mean, the smell of the fuel, right? Which I'm not particularly a fan of it. But then, like a block later, there is this house who has a big, nice um, front yard garden full of flowers, and I could feel the smell of the flowers, while I was actually running. And I was like, whoa, man, this smell is so awesome because this is something that I wasn't aware in a long time. And just because of that, I was like, oh my God, man, this is awesome. This is great. Thank you. You know, just because of that, uh, what I sense that happened in my body is that this boost of energy came in, and I started running a little bit faster. So that was actually because I did change not only my mentality, I brought up the consciousness of something that is good, something that is pleasant, that provided me with energy. In other words, something happened in my body and in my brain that changed chemistry. And this is something that you can do just by observing things, right? By feeling, by getting connected with the thought and the feeling at the same time, and in that way you start feeling that your own energy is moving, is flowing much more lighter. That's the chemistry that you want to have every single moment of your day, right? But in order to do that, right, you need to start writing, paying attention and writing those things, so your mind and your brain starts programming those habits, right? So having said that, right, uh, I want you just to experience that. I want you to experience the gratitude of everything um, that happens today in your life, whatever it is. Even the challenging situations, even the people that you don't want to deal with, right? Try to pay attention as to what are you learning from those people, and maybe from that you can actually uh, think in terms of gratitude and also start feeling, right, that sense of wow, I learned something. I mean, this is good. I mean, I'm privileged because of the fact that I am receiving something. So this is another way of bringing and turning darkness into light, right? It's changing the chemistry of your body by feeling gratitude. Okay, so have a wonderful day. Thank you so much once again for being here. And I'll see you in the next series. Have a good one. Bye bye.